Ladies, gentlemen, sinners, saints, put your drinks down for half a second. Light whatever you brought with you. Cigars, smokes, joints, coffee, whiskey. I don't judge. You didn't come here for fairy tales. You came for truth, steel, and motor oil. This ain't clickbait. This ain't influencer nonsense. This is real biker news told by a man who's lived it, seen it, and survived it. From the streets to the clubhouse, from the old guard to the new blood. Welcome to Biker News Canada. And the man behind the curtain, the voice they don't want quiet, the pen that wrote Playpen, the mind that never shut off, Bob Jarvie. So sit back. Let the truth hit harder than a straight pipe at midnight. And remember, once you hear it here, you can't unhear it. Now here is Bob.
News story today. Hey, there's everyone. There we go. Hey, how's everyone out there? Bob's back. Biker News Canada, man. I'm back for a Thursday night live show. No interview today. So I thought today, now I got to do this respectfully because the man just passed, but I really wanted to do a show on Phil Crazy Boudreault. We don't call him Boudreault, I thought that's how you pronounce it. Phil Boudreault. Sorry. That's how we pronounced it back in the day. So I'm sure that's how it's pronounced, something similar to Boudreault. French-Canadian name. So, but anyway, so Phil, aka Crazy as he was known, is his biker handle. He just passed recently, January 20th. He had a big personality. He had a big, one of those larger than life guys. Sometimes you heard more mention of his name than you did actually see the man around, if you know what I mean. So, and again, I'm going to do this respectfully because he just passed, and I'm not here to stir up shit or anything. I just found his life and his motorcycle club career interesting, and I figured you guys would also. So let's say hi to everybody in the comments real quick over on the YouTube side. I got I comment to make you angry. Good to see you tonight, brother. Oh, it was a pleasure, my friend. Alex is in the house. Good to see you tonight, Alex. Awesome, man. Thanks for popping in, shoveling in the hammer. Good to see you tonight, bro. Always good to see you guys, man. Handy Pelly's here today. Awesome. We got Gary Beckett coming out of our neighbor state right over there in Michigan. Good to see you tonight, Gary. Thanks for popping in, bro. He passed in odd circumstances. Yeah, and that's another thing that I wanted to touch on. That's the other reason. We probably all watch the same channels, right? So I caught Crafty one the other day, and something caught my eye and there in my ear. And I was like, what the fuck is that? So we'll talk about that too. Handy Kurt, good to see you tonight, Kurt. How are you, brother? Hope you're doing well, man. Haven't seen you for a couple of days. Hope you're okay, brother. And okay, we got guys saying hi to each other right on. Good to see you guys, man. And we got Laird. How are you tonight, Laird? Good to see you, bro. And Alex. I already say hi to Alex. Well, I'll say hi again, even if I already did. Who do we got over here in the TikTok side of the world? We got Tori. We got John. And thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. O'Neill's Smith is in the house. The Galaxy Demon. Ben, Linda, John Johnson. Good to see you guys. Graham Kelly. I appreciate you guys for coming on in and checking it out tonight. Like I say, we're gonna do this respectfully and with some tact. So let's see what we can do here. Before we get going, let's do the quick shameless plug. If you don't know, now you're going to know. So I wrote a book about my time. I am a retired or an ex 1%er. I don't know how you say it these days. I probably still ain't 1%. Who the fuck knows? So I'm just not in the club. Anyways, I used to be in one of the big clubs. I wrote a book about my time in the club. Names and shit like that have been changed on the book for obvious reasons. Check it out. If you put One Night at the Playpen right in the Amazon search bar, you'll get the book, or you contact me on any social media messaging. I prefer Facebook Messenger. I check that one often, but I will find you on TikTok messages or Instagram if you choose them. Book's $30. Signed from me right to your door if you purchase it from me through social media. And a book and this cool patch is $40. You can do the patch for 10 or the book for 30 or both for 40. So get a hold of me. I'll sign it right to you and I'll send it right to your door. There's a couple of people I will be talking to tomorrow about their orders and stuff like that. And we'll get this thing happening. So, where was I? I was at Kurt doing good. Good for you, man. Good for you, Kurt. We got Gyros in the house. Good to see you tonight, brother. He did seem like a cool guy, and he wasn't that old. According to Wikipedia, he was born in 1975. So he's younger than me by what, 6 years? No, he's younger than me by 8 years. So he was only 50 when he passed. Yeah, let's get a hold of me, bro, and I'll tell you how to send the payment. It's basically you send the payment on the same ticker that's at the bottom of the screen. E-transfer to bjarvie67@gmail.com and put on it's for a book, and then hit me on Messenger. Tell me you sent the transfer and what your address is and who to sign the book to, and bada boom, I'll get it happening. We got William Grant in the house. Good to see you tonight, brother. I appreciate you checking out. It is cold out. I got to go out after we're done the show, too. Boo. I got to get a part to a guy for a furnace. No boost and so forth. Good for you, man. That's really good, Laird. That's right. It's funny when you stop doing your addictions, how some of your friends come around. I noticed that with different addictions, too, man. It's a strange thing that. Hey, Stefano, good to see you tonight, bro. Always a pleasure, my man. Great to see you, man. And something nice about having a physical copy of a book. Yeah, exactly, Gyro. Exactly, man. Exactly. It's not the same as checking out on your phone. Nomadic Pirate dropped in. Good to see you tonight, brother. Okay, so we'll start with what Wikipedia said. I'm going to add in things that I know. I didn't know the man personally, but things I knew of the landscape from around those times. So now this stuff, they're saying, his father abandoned him as an infant. So basically he grew up, it sounds like, in a single mother home in Sudbury, Ontario. Pretty tough town. Rough and cold and kind of up there, up on the rock there, right? It's a wild place. I've done different business in there and had friends in there and stuff like that. It's a wild place. It gets cold as fuck in the middle of winter. And, there's choice chapters and there was no chapters, and there was an HA chapter and no chapter. There was an outlaw chapter for a minute there. It's a hard town. They have 6 people together at the same time up on their motorcycles and going. And clubs open and close there all the time. So, and yes, as Alex said, he was a tremendous amateur boxer as well. He did go to the Olympics representing Canada. Apparently, he joined the Satan Choice in Sudbury. And back then, the chapter was led by Michael Dubé, and that was a pretty famous name too. And he kept his motorcycle club membership secret, apparently, from the Olympic boxing officials. And then he went to fight, like I say, he represented Canada in the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. And he got, what did he get there? Bronze, and he lost out to a great big Russian dude. So he did really good, man. And he really, really, really loved the old school guys, Bernie and Lauren Campbell. Those are the two guys who ran Satan's Choice basically back in these days. We're going back a little ways, maybe late 80s, early 90s, I'm thinking. And he said, they don't make men like that. I wish everyone was like that. And he had allegedly, on one hand, it said hard, and the other hand, it said core tattooed on his hands because of his boxing career. You know what I mean? So he had all that going on. So in 95, he competed in the Pan American Games in Argentina, and he lost in the quarterfinals by knockout in the first round, due to a liver shot. I didn't think liver shots were allowed in boxing. But then again, I guess if it disables you, you got to throw in the towel anyway. So, and he then competed in the North and Central American Olympic qualifiers in Puerto Rico in the light welterweight division. And he fought a dude from Mexico in the preliminaries, and he got him in the third round. The Mexicans corner threw in the towel in the third round. Then he went to fight a guy from Jamaica, and he beat him by second round disqualification. And then he fought somebody from Caraco, first round knockout. So he's a good fighter. And then he lost on point 7-1 against somebody from Puerto Rico. But since his loss was in the finals, he qualified for the 96 Olympics. So in the Olympics, he competed as a light welterweight. And like I said, that was in 96 in Atlanta. That was the Olympics. Remember, they had the bomb scare and all that shit at the Olympics that year. And so he lost 11-9 in round of 16. So it's the 16th round to Russia's Edward Zakharov after having defeated a dude from Tasmania in the round of 32. What? And they say he should have been awarded the bronze medal and that the judges erred. That's what a lot of people said. And they said he would have beat the guy from Cuba who was the gold medalist of the year if his route had taken him against that guy instead of the Russian. The spirit of showing in Atlanta made him an international hero. Upon his return to Sudbury, he took part in a parade where he's greeted as a local hero. Good for him, man. I like to hear that about dudes, man. Even dudes that they say are outlaws and whatever. You know what I mean? He chose his life, man. And I give him hats off for that too, man. He chose to live in freedom. And that's my interpretation of a 1%er, having been one myself. So let's go in the chat for a second and order your book after I'm done. Great. Thank you, brother. How was Geddy Lee's book? I heard that Geddy Lee's talking about doing another tour with a different drummer. That's interesting. Who are they going to get to drum like Neil Peart? And I seen them live once. I think when they had those rabbits. What was it called? Presto tour, maybe. They're not much for moving around on stage because they're a 3-piece band, but all the noises they make, holy Christ! And of course, they're one of Canadians' most respected band, Rush. You know. We got J.R. Dodd. Good to see you tonight, brother. Respect right back to you, bro. Geddy's from yeah, I think all of Rush is from Ontario, bro. As far as I know, yeah. 95, he'd have been 20-ish. Yeah, so he wasn't that old, was he? Yeah, if he's born in 75, yeah. Good man, Laird. You looked right into that. We got Randy's in the house from Kitchener. Good to see you, brother. And hit the like. Good thinking, JR. Thank you for reminding everybody. Jimmy Mack, good to see you tonight, bro. Thanks for popping in. And yes, William, I heard that. They got a female drummer. That's what I heard on the radio yesterday. So that'll be interesting. You know what? I think if it's Rush and they're doing a tour, it's going to sell out. So the Choice shut down in 2000, right? That's when they patched over to the Angels. So they were doing the big patch over that happened in that 2000 thing in Quebec, and they all rode out as one club, and they all rode back as Hell's Angels. So they all rode out as different clubs. I mean, the Dice and the Choice and the Los Lobos and a couple other clubs, and boom, they all came back as Hell's Angels. And some guys that weren't in clubs took the traditional route of being a prospect, because they hadn't received a patch from any other club at that point. So you have to start somewhere, right? And that's how you do it. So he did a professional boxing career in '08. It says 12 years after his last amateur fight. That's a long time to go by. He beat a guy, Tibor Brosh, split decision at Casino Rama in Aurelia, good old Rama. And then 3 months later, he beat Eduardo Calderon, winning by unanimous decision. He would go on to rematch Tibor Brosh and winning another one unanimous decision. And then he fought Jean Charlemagne and Paul Watson. And he won all them fights too. So he was a good boxer, man. He knew his stuff in the ring. And I've taken boxing lessons and stuff over the years, and it's a nice art. It's a really cool thing to learn boxing. Obviously, not good enough to get in the ring with nobody, but it was fun to get in there and learn and sweat it up. You know what I mean? I really liked it. It was fun. Did it in Mississauga with a guy from the Jamaican Commonwealth. He was Jamaican. He fought in the Commonwealth Games for Canada. And he was the DeWalt, something like that, down in Mississauga. And so his record here, apparently he only had one loss against Justin Fontaine, March 20th, 2009, and that happened at Rama again. And he had a torn Achilles in the 5th round. Ow, that would hurt, man. So then he went on. And during all this time, he was doing the biker thing. So now we're going to pop into the biker side of his story. And again, this is the part I want to get. I want to get respectful. Not for any other reason, but that's the way to do things with someone who's passed. So Laird is from Poco, BC, but you're not from there. That's where you're at now, is it, bro? Oh, it's 2 different Lairds. Oh, that's the whole deal. That's the whole deal. It's 2 different Lairds. That's it, man. I get it now. Did some of the Choice go to the Outlaws? Yep. In '77, about 5 chapters of the Choice switched over to the Outlaws, and that's how the Outlaws came to Canada. And like I said yesterday, and at the same time, in '77, the Popeyes from Montreal were becoming the first Hells Angels chapters in Canada. So both them clubs came north in about the same time, different provinces and very different results. From '77 to where we sit now, very different results. JR, I tried being a boxer, but I kept breaking my hands. I know that hurts, eh? That hurts something bad when you break your hand bones. Yep, yeah, I knew that. Gyro wasn't a Choice member in NHL at one point too. Could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know a couple of the guys from the Outlaws could have made the show and chose to be bikers instead. Crafty will break down the history of Quebec and then exploding population of bikers. Yeah, Mr. 40 Scratch. Good to see you tonight, brother. And I like Crafty One. He's got a good show. That's his name, Rob. How did you know his name? That was the guy. That's his gym I was at. Good guy. I liked him. He was funny because every time I came there, I was thinking like Cheech and Chong because that's what I do. And he'd laugh and he'd say, you'd be so much better if you didn't fucking smoke on your way to the gym. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just here for the exercise. You know what I mean? Honestly, I was in my late 40s or so. I just wanted to stay skinny, right? Because I took care of myself really good in the 40s, went to the gym and did a couple of cycles and stuff. And now I'm in my late 50s and I don't feel like I'm in my late 50s. You know what I mean? So it kind of helps out. Yeah, that's what I got mixed up, guys. I didn't realize there was two guys named Laird in the show. Stefano, thanks for joining us, brother. I always appreciate you, man. Yeah, you message me anytime, bro. You always got my attention. Yeah. The Outlaws and the Choice been up here, are they? And the Angels have been up here a long time. But it comes down to it. And then Crafty does the Street Gangs too. Yep, you are correct. And that is funny, isn't it, Paul? Yeah, because Bernie was a good boxer too. And oh, and you box. Oh, so you were in the business. That's how you know. How do you say it? DeWitt, right? I liked him. You think Alberta is going to be the next U.S. state? Oh, Alberta. I don't know, JR. Let's fucking hope not. It's hard to break up a country with one more province to your west, like physically. And some native people were on here saying that Alberta can't legally do it because of treaties and stuff, and it's actually indigenous land. And I say good, thank for that, because as much as our country can be frustrating, and the prices of whatever's fucked and all that stuff, I'd still hate to see us get tore apart because it's where I was born. Yeah, boxing was big in them days, and yeah, now it's MMA. Lots of guys in the early 2000s from the motorcycle clubs were opening MMA gyms and stuff, and I think even Harley back in Oshawa has some sort of setup like that at his place down there. Back when guys actually fought instead of just boom boom and run like your girl, you got that, Gyro. It's a bummer. No, I appreciate that, JR. Yeah. That's kind of how I view it anyway. Alberta don't own Alberta. It's Canada. You got that right, Laird. Not only fought, but knew how to. And that's the thing. Like, you have a guy like me that loses his temper and flips out and whatever I grab and I bash you with. Or you can have a guy that gets in the ring and knows how to get his hands up and stand proper and get behind his hands and actually throw. You know what I mean? So I was glad that I learned that at DeWitt's gym, albeit after my fighting days. So it didn't really matter, right? But anyways, so after the Olympics, Phil continued to be involved. Okay, now I'm not going to read it the same way they got it because they make him sound like, anyways, I'll paraphrase it. So he was in the Choice in 2000 when they did the big patch over, like you say, at the mother chapter in Sorel, Quebec. And I always found that odd because at that time, there was no Satan's Choice chapter in Sudbury. But it doesn't mean that he couldn't have been a member of another Choice chapter because, obviously they had more than one chapter that was active in Southern Ontario, Oshawa, Cambridge, or Oshawa, Kitchener, to name two of them off the top of my head. And, but he was, so here's how they got it, that he was a favorite of the chapter president, Lauren Campbell. And like I say, Lauren was one of the dudes who, along with Bernie, ran the Choice. Bernie spent a fair amount of time in jail, and so did Lauren as a result. That's one thing about getting to the top of a club is you get time with it. It's almost inevitable. It's almost 100% guaranteed. And it's one of the shitty parts of being near the leadership or in leadership positions in motorcycle clubs is you're going to go to jail. Unfortunately, it might not even be for anything you did, except for the fact that you were, the president of a chapter or whatever. So Phil became very close to Campbell, and he called him his dad. So that means, to me, in outlaw terms, that Campbell was probably his sponsor, right? You call your sponsor dad. So I've heard about him ever since I was a young kid. Never anything negative, always positive for the 1%er side. He's just a man standing by his beliefs. He doesn't sway side to side. That was Phil talking about Lauren. When I look at him, I see myself as time will pass. I always felt that he was me, just an older version of me. And Phil also admired Campbell's unwillingness to complain about prison life, despite spending much of his life behind bars. As he stated, Lauren gets his time and he never cries about it, never bitched about it, just did his time. And again, that's something of the older school bikers that you don't see as much anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna bounce over to the chat here because you know, we got the FAFO, darn Dootin. MMA is huge in Durham Regional. That's why. Okay, that makes sense, Paul. Thanks for that. I didn't realize, and it's a great sport. You know, before I did the boxing thing in Mississauga, I fucked around with the MMA thing in England when I was over there, and they showed me some stuff, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun too. You know what I mean? But we got Mama Iron Ranger, 81 support in the house. Good to see you this evening, Mama Iron Ranger. I dig it when you show up. Are you going to film more riding this spring? Hey, man, that would be fucking a cool thing to do. I can keep my eyes open for that. Mouth of the South, you're in the house. Good to see you tonight, brother. Always a pleasure, my man. The Choice had boxers. They had some famous wrestlers. Oh, Johnny K9, bro. They had Johnny K9. He was from Hamilton. I heard some different things about Johnny K9 along the ways, about skin beefs, etc. Don't know if they're true, but I remember hearing them along the ways. I won the Detroit Golden Gloves. Oh, fuck, bro. That's pretty cool, man. I like those Golden Glove guys. I knew a Golden Glove guy from the reservation. It was Floyd's uncle. Same last name, Deliri. Phil. He was a really good guy. They were gangsters, no talking, no whining, just handle stuff with some pride and grace. It's a dying thing. Yes, it is. I knew a guy from our chapter he was in before I became a member, and he did a life bit with a lot of life parole. And what did he do? He went and got some degrees from Queen's University while he was there, and he got his parole at the end of his 25. That's a long fucking time to sit in Joyceville. 25. He ran the track. He stayed in shape. He kept his mind busy. But unfortunately, he's still on a life parole. So even when he got out, he couldn't come back to the club, you know, as a full member or anything, or have any contact because breach his parole. And after a man does 25, if you breach that man, you're a fuck. Leave the man alone. He's done 25. He allows to be out, man. Dave's in the house. Good to see you tonight, brother. Cliff, that was his name. Rob, fuck, you know everybody, bro. I met him in college. He played hockey with us, man, on little intramural team, you know, a no body contact team, Cliff. I fucking like that guy, man. And he went on to become a native studies teacher at one of the high schools in London, Thames High School. Unknown. Good to see you this evening, brother. Thanks for popping in, man. Joyceville Jets were a great baseball team. Interesting, eh? Yeah, I boxed from 82 to 92, won the Ontario Championship 3 times. That's fucking cool, bro. Good for you, man. So you're in good shape and you know how to twist and you know all that stuff, the footwork. It's the stuff they do in the training for conditioning, eh? It's like really fucking good cardio and stuff. Like, yeah, that's what I used it for in my 40s, was to get the sweat on, right? In fact, he worked me one day so hard that I think I puked. And the guys in England did that to me too on leg day. We did a leg day till I puked, man. I was like, holy fuck. Are we sure we have to go this hard? I know Donnie. Which Donnie D? Senior and junior. Donnie D. Which ones are they, bro? Probably know who you mean. Yeah, he was an awesome guy, Rob. Unfortunately, he's passed now, man. But fucking, I really, really, really liked him, man. Remember when Lennox? Yes. So we had a guy that used to hang around our clubhouse. Had a female name. Fuck. And he was Lennox's sparring partner. and he was punch drunk, man. He was really punch drunk. Fuck, he rode a BMW motorcycle. But because one of our members was a brain injury guy, and so was this guy. Well, fuck, his name almost jumped out of my mouth there for a minute. Then our brother Goody knew how to deal with him and talk to him and stuff. So if he was getting a little bit drunk or a little bit feisty, Goody could talk him down. And he always come and hang out, or not always, but he came and hung out at our clubhouse a fair bit when I was in the hang around in the probate stage. Paul, good to see you, brother. We're all in shape. Brown is in shape. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what he was just saying. He can box good too, Rob. That's awesome. 56, I can't do. No, fuck JR. I can barely walk up the stairs now without wheezing. I smoke like a fucking chimney, unfortunately. I remember Lewis in that club like it was yesterday. The Johnson brothers. Oh, that's cool. The Johnson brothers, I knew they weren't boxers. They were cool guys, though. So I'll talk a little bit more about what Wikipedia's got here. So Phil was very protective of Campbell. At a party, someone once bumped into Campbell, and Phil punched the guy out. And then Campbell said, "You don't have to do that." And he said, "Hey, man, he bumped into you." Another party, Phil asked that. So another dude was hitting on his old lady, and so he asked Lauren. He said, "Hey, man, if there's somebody I want to punch out, can I do it?" And so without knowing who he was talking about, he said, "Yeah, have at it." But he was talking about a full patch member, and at the time it says here that he was a prospect member, but I don't understand how he could have been a prospect member if it was because they patched over patch for patch from the choice to the Angels. So that's the thing about Wikipedia. They don't have always all the facts correct. But anyways, he was talking about another full patch member, and Lauren had to get to him before he hit the guy and say, no, you know what I mean? Because fighting in amongst the club members, it happens, but it's frowned upon, and it's definitely frowned upon in public. So if there's a couple members want to go back and have beef, the officers might allow it, but they're not going to do it in public in front of everybody at a fucking party. So anyways, it's just one of them things. And according to this, it was the Simcoe County P that he had the beef with. And like you say, Lauren intervened and stopped that before it happened. And then told the other guy to quit fucking around with Phil's old lady, which is probably good advice. You know what I mean? And again, this is another part in here that doesn't make any sense. In May 2002, Campbell visited the Netherlands as part of his European Grand Tour, and Phil went with him. Campbell described the Dutch Hells Angels, who he met, as mindlessly violent men who reveled in mayhem. Boudreault was popular with the members of the Amsterdam chapter, who liked him for his boxing skills and as he had a bit of swagger. And then it says in here that they demanded Campbell immediately on the spot promote Phil to being a full patch member. But again, if he patched over with the choice, I don't know why in Wikipedia they have him as a prospect. So, and obviously, I wasn't there. I was never a member of that club, so I don't know that part. I don't know why it's gone like that. But that being said, and like I said, there wasn't really a choice chapter in 2000 when the choice patched over en masse. So maybe Phil came in the traditional way and prospected in. That's very possible. You know, he could have been doing time in 2000 when the patch over happened. I'm not sure, but that could be the answer to that question. And unfortunately, I don't know 100%. But I bet you that could be an explanation, a valid explanation. So, you know, they said that the guys in Amsterdam really loved him. And there he was in a seedy Amsterdam motel room handing Phil his full patch. So that was pretty cool. He was shocked. He reminds me when I was younger, he didn't back down for nobody. People make money off him and his reputation without him even knowing. That sucks when that happens. And people get you in fights when you got a reputation without you even knowing that somebody offered that you were going to go beat him up for him, right? It goes like that sometimes. And I don't care if everybody else doesn't respect me, as long as he, meaning Campbell, respects me, I can go to bed. On March 3rd, 2004, Boudreault attacked the father and son. So he got in a beef with the father and son duo in Valais, which is Sudbury, right? And of course, from what I'm getting here, it's probably from the police thing. He was having a beef and having his way with the son. The dad turned up. He tried to get involved, and there was broken jawbones and teeth knocked out and bruised ribs and shit like that. And then during the trial for that assault, the cops say that he threatened two Sudbury police officers during the bail hearing, saying, you're dead motherfuckers, and you have to go in the witness protection, you punch, blah, blah, blah. And he was angry because the officers had approached with an offer of a plea bargain in exchange to testify against the Angels. And no wonder he's pissed off. Then in 2005, he was convicted of another assault. They're saying brutal assault in another bar in Sudbury. They fight in Sudbury. They fight in the northern cities. Is what they do. It's cold up there and you got fuck all to do. They fight. So they were going to DO him. They tried to DO him, and he had to agree to what's called a long-term offender, which sets you up, I think, for a nickel out of the gate, and then you're on paper for another 10 or something after you do that. So that's what they did with him. They put him on the long-term offender, and then, of course, being on paper for all that time, you're going to breach. It's just a part of it. So, he had a dirty P test a couple times and this and that. And he came in and out, 2010 and 2009. So he was in and out, And then in 2012, he's back in again. 2013, he's back in again. So they kept breaching him on this fucking 10 years worth of paper he had. Poor guy. So then in 2013, in December, he went to court to change his address and said he was leaving Sudbury. And another guy I knew from a different northern city, I used to know the guy, he had to do that also. He just had to leave the city he was from. You're too well known. It's small towns, and then they just wait for you to do something, right? So his wife was a school teacher, and they were moving on down, I believe, to the Niagara region, from what I understand. So that was all in 2013. All that was going on. So, and during all that time, he would have still been, obviously a full member of the Patch and all that. So he was doing his thing. He was doing the biker thing. Good for him. Oh my God. Laird, is anyone watching the museum motorcycle auction? One of Sonny Barger's bikes is going up Saturday for auction. Interesting, eh? George Christie should buy it. Hey, Tommy, good to see you tonight, brother. Always a pleasure. D.I.'s mean Julius French, one of the Lewis sparring partners. Do you? Oh, yeah, it was one of his sparring partners. I thought he had like a name that could be a female or a male. Or maybe that was his nickname. I can't remember. I was retarded. That bike should go for good money. It might. Thank you, Randy. Respect to you too, brother. Wasn't everyone who came over the 81 at Prospect First Ontario? No, they got patch for patch up first. If you went to that party in Sorel in 2000 and you handed over a full patch, they handed you back a full patch, right? And then that made it just so much easier. You heard the same about Johnny K9? I heard that too. He was partners with a guy in my building, guy who never shut his mouth. Yeah, I heard that too. Real truth. 4 outlaw motorcycle members arrested. in St. Catharines. Now that's a long time ago. That's a long, long time ago, real truth. And it wasn't their stuff, and that stuff wasn't in their thing. But anyways, yeah, the party's canceled, Gary. Fucking awesome, bro. Yeah, JR, small towns are hard for that, bro. Good to see you too, Tommy. Always a pleasure. So this is where things started getting dicey for Phil. And now we're getting into, 14, 15. So a bunch of the HA guys in Quebec got rounded up. It was Operation Shark. Actually, I remember when this one happened. It was basically, if I recall right, it was one of the final shots of the government at the club after the Rock Machine War. So they started going around and they picked up a lot of the senior members and officers and shit from the Quebec, from the Quebec guys, right? So because of all that, the Hells Angels opened a Nomad chapter in Ottawa, and they kind of helped build the void of manpower in Quebec, right? The Nomads kind of have no home base, et cetera, et cetera. It's an honor to be one. I knew a couple guys from where I am, I think, that were a part of that chapter. And so that was in 2009 when they were getting rounded up and all that. So then in 2015, so after 6 years of being on paper or being in custody or whatever, all these guys from Quebec had their charges dropped because they took too long to get to court. And I've beat cases for the same reason. It's called the Ascoff ruling. You have a right to a speedy trial in Canada, whatever that looks like. So if they can't get you up in front of a judge for a trial within X amount of time, they got to let you go and drop your charges. So that's what happened with these guys in Quebec. And then I don't know, and this is where I want to be respectful because I don't know what happened or what went down. But from what I've been led to understand was the Quebec guys weren't into the Nomad chapter in Ottawa. And I do recall that one guy caught some lead, I think the P, and another guy got fucking, the lead went for him, but it missed him. And then they shut down that Nomad chapter and turned it back into just a regular Hells Angel chapter, blah, 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 from Ottawa, right? And so during all that, and this is kind of speculation, kind of not, but during all that time, Phil got shot while riding his motorcycle with his girlfriend in Quebec. And they shot him in the back, which is, nobody likes that idea, right? So the papers and the biker experts and the whatevers have always said that it was an internal thing, and it spun out of this Nomad thing in Ottawa and guys from Quebec being uptight. And when the guys from Quebec got out, they wanted whatever their business, they wanted it back. And, maybe some of the guys said no, and now we're taking care of it or what. Who knows? I don't know. But that's what's alleged. So it was after that. So following the shooting, he was put into an induced coma, and shrapnel was found near his vertebrae and his spine. And when they took him out of the coma, he was confined to a wheelchair. So you imagine that, going from a guy who was a boxer and he rode his bike all through Ontario and Quebec and bar fights with two dudes, no sweat, to all of a sudden being in a wheelchair, right? And which often happens in cases like that is you end up with long-term health issues. So So did he. He ended up with health issues, long-term health issues. And like you say, in the Ottawa Nomads just went back to a regular Hells Angel chapter, and everything on the Quebec side of the border calmed down. Now, Phil got married, it says here, in 2018 to his longtime girlfriend. And here's a weird expert in here that part in here that I don't understand. In July 2018, it was revealed that some guy named Christopher, a tax officer with this Canada Revenue Agency, CRA, and a member of Bacchus Motorcycle Club, had accessed Phil's tax records in November and December of 2014. So I don't know why they added that there. Was the guy trying to find out where Phil was? Was the guy trying to scrub his account for him? And I find it's funny that a member of a 1% motorcycle club had a job with the Canadian government, the CRA. But he did. Now, there's a few books. There's a book about Lauren Campbell called Terrible Life of Lauren Campbell, Satan's Choice and Hell's Angel Biker. And there's one called The Road to Hell, How Biker G-Words Are Conquering Canada. That's a couple of the books. Now, on a lot of big page of references and stuff like that. Watching Crafty One the other day, it made it sound like Phil passed in Alberta. Now, again, I don't know, but that's how it sounded on his show. So maybe over the years, he moved to Alberta. Apparently, he was still a full patch member of the club. So he never left the club or anything like that. Good for him. And then he said something in the show that a newspaper writer inferred that his death might have been maybe self-induced, which I don't really like to continue that rumor. But I also know that it's a fairly common thing with paraplegics that after a while that they've had enough, or the health issues start to grind on them and stuff like that. So again, I don't know. I don't want to cause any bad feelings or throw any dirt on the man, because he's got a good legacy. So let's leave his legacy good. He was a full patch member of 81 for all them years. He was a great boxer, and from everything I've ever heard of anyone that knew the man personally, he was a great fucking guy. So that's a little history of Phil. I thought we could make a show out of it. I hope you guys found it interesting. I did. And, he had a pretty cool arc and some ups and downs, and as to be expected in the biker world. There's up days and there's down times, and he lived it, man. He did it. He lived it like a man. And rest in peace, Phil. And that's where we are, man. Yeah, I read that one too, Real Truth. You always tell me this stuff like I don't know it. I did a show about that one, bro. Hey, Mikey, good to see you, brother. Thanks for popping in this evening. But yeah, man, we he was a legend. He was very well known, and they stay the charge when you hit that time limit, Laird. Yes, you're absolutely right. That's what happened with the case I was on in Northern Ontario. They stayed the charge. Nick Fuentes will save America. Okay, but thanks for dropping in, AJN93. I appreciate you, bro. I think it's 30 months for a stay. Yeah, because that's what happened with the gambling charges, Project Hobart, that they had the Ontario guys wrapped up on. But they're still holding what they seized. Between cash, property, and possessions, over $100 million worth, and they haven't given it back yet. Yeah, Tommy, he was shot off his bike. That's kind of, that's not a cool thing in this world. Hey, Flames, how are you, bro? Good to see you, man. Been a minute, my friend. Hope everything's good with you, bro. 9 years in the joint, it was hard for me to adapt to society. Fucking right, JR. 9 years is it, right? And a lot of people don't understand that term institutionalized, because there's a lot of dudes that all of a sudden you got to decide when you're waking up, where you're going to live, what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat. And for fucking 9 years or 12 years or 20 years, all that was decided for you. And I knew a dude from my city who was friends with us. That same thing. He got out. I can't remember how many he did. He did a lot. He was a Joyceville guy. He got out. He lasted a week or two. He did something crazy, so they would fucking breach his parole and new charges, and just went on back. He said, I just went home, man. Yeah, Kurt, all around shitty situation. You're right. And 50 years isn't very old, but like I say, man, when you start getting the medical issues and all that stuff, right? It's 50 might seem like a long time. He showed a paper article. Okay, where are you? What happened there? It did translate, right? I lost you, bro. There's a rumor about that. Yeah, okay. He went to Alberta for a few days before he passed. Okay, that makes more sense. Hey, TRC 275, Lake St. Martin First Nation up there in Manitoba. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're staying warm. Thanks, Tommy. I'm glad you found that interesting. I didn't know that much about Phil either, so I thought it'd be fun to check it out. Wikipedia will give you pretty close to the truth, I believe, and then we can make a show out of it. I can give, like you say, when you see stuff like he was a prospect in Amsterdam, it still doesn't make no sense to me. Because if he patched over in 2000 with everybody else, what the hell would he be a prospect for in 02? Well, he was hanging out with Lauren in Amsterdam. So, like I say, there's some parts of the story that maybe they don't have quite right. Maybe the dates aren't lining up. But somebody felt that they wanted to put that in there, the Amsterdam story. Hey, Bruce, good to see you tonight, bro. No such thing as being late, man. Oh, thanks, Tommy. Yeah, it wasn't a bad show. I like this show. Thank you, JR. Much respect to you, brother. Always a pleasure to see you in the house. Shawshank, you got that right, TRC. Aggressive fish lovers. Good to see you. I did community service at a halfway house as late teens. Seen if you guys get out to have the rope squad, look for them. And next day, one day was enough for them, and they realized outside was not for them. Yeah, man. Yeah. And in that rope squad, man, they drive around their pickup trucks, and that's all they do. It's too bad, because you hate to see it. After a guy's gone through that much fucking time inside, you hate to see him kind of give up, right? And, from people on the outside, we see it as giving up. But, like you say, that word institutionalized is a word for a reason. The Crafty One show. Oh, that's it, Laird. Yes, he did. He did. He put a newspaper article from Alberta up, and that's where it mentioned something about being self-inflicted, etc. Right? But he was also translating it, and he didn't say it was 100% gospel either. But yeah. He had definitely had it. He had to have had his full patch in 02. 100% he had to have. And like Bruce said, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It all helps. Donations can be sent via an e-transfer to the email bjarvey67@gmail. Make sure you guys get my book if you haven't yet. Like I said, there's a few people that have ordered. I've been busy. Shit's going in the mail tomorrow. I took tomorrow off. And then there's somebody else that wanted more than one copy, and we got to talk tomorrow. But anyways, you know who you are, so I'll track you down tomorrow on Messenger, and we'll just make sure everything's correct. And everybody on the TikTok side, I really want to thank you guys for stopping in and checking it out. We got Steph. It takes 7 years to the institutionalized self when you're institutionalized. It's a study fact. So it takes 7 years to get that out of your head, is it? It's a long time, right? That's a very long time. But I appreciate you for commenting, man. I appreciate all you guys on TikTok for stopping in and checking it out. Good evening to you too. Club history. Oh, wait, that's fucking AI gives you prompts on TikTok. It drives you crazy. You remember Tommy Dennison? 5150 Shredder. No, that name doesn't ring no bells, bro. But hey, man, I appreciate you popping in and commenting. It helps with the show. Not Donnie for sure. He was a wrestler. Choice. Okay. Gerbert will be at his celebration this Saturday. Okay. Read his book. Thank you. I was in Joyceville with Crazy. Oh, I get it. Okay. It's funny we said same time. Long table got him in. That's what I thought too, Gerbert. Am I saying your name right, bro? I hope I am. So, all right. So that's what we got tonight. Justin, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Travis, too, in there and on the TikTok side. I appreciate you guys. And thanks for commenting and liking over there, too. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Texas hot sauce. Hit the like button. I almost said hit the like sauce. and I'll keep doing the TikTok lives. Why not? It's just one more place I can get it. The books, probably the books. If you go in and you Google on Amazon for Lauren Campbell, so you got The Terrible Life of Lauren Campbell. That's one of them, and the other one's called The Road to Hell: How the Biker Gangs Are Conquering Canada. So those are the two books, and I guarantee that they're both available on Amazon. Amazon's a good place. Nomadic, got to hand to you, Bob. You're probably the best at being respectful, non-biased. Thank you, bro. I really tried to, man. I really tried to be non-biased, because it's not good to alienate people or to talk shit about people who don't have a chance to defend themselves in real time. That's how I look at it. Thank you, Laird. You have a good night too, bro. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So I think we'll wrap it up there, dudes. And like I say, I couldn't do the show without all you guys. And I thank you so much each and every time that you pop in. And it means the world to me. Well, come on back tomorrow. We'll think about something cool to talk about tomorrow too. Like I say, I try to keep things unbiased and respectful. And we're getting into good weather. So I can't wait for the weather to change. And we'll all get out there on two wheels and we'll start bumping into each other in person. Till tomorrow night, stay warm, everyone. It's the coldest fucking weekend of the year or some bullshit like that. And my move got postponed. So thankfully, I don't got to move this weekend. Thank fuck. So till tomorrow, guys, be safe, be warm, and be good. My dog's in a bark. There you go. Stop. Good night, guys. Thank you. Good night.
Biker News Canada, where the truth hits harder than the highway wind. From Ontario to the coast, Bob Javi rolls in. Let the real news begin. He's got the camera ready, catching sparks from every ride. Club stories, charity runs, every heartbeat of the biker tribe. So smash that like, share, follow, let the whole country feel the ride.